Stage 1. The arguer. You are in a conversation. Someone disagrees with you. Your chest tightens, your jaw sets. Something inside you prepares for war. You've been doing this your whole life, fighting to be right, defending your position like it's territory, like losing the argument means losing yourself. So you push back, you get louder, you find the flaw in their logic and you drive a truck through it. And maybe you win, maybe they go quiet. But they don't change their mind. They just stop talking to you. You walk away feeling like you won something. You won nothing. Stage 2. The question. One day, something shifts. Instead of firing back, you pause. You say something no one expected. Help me understand why you see it that way. Not a trick, not a trap, a real question. The other person stops. They were ready for a fight. You didn't give them one. So they talk, and you listen. Actually listen. And here's what you discover in that silence. Half the time, they're not wrong. They just have information you didn't have, a perspective you hadn't considered, a piece of the picture you were missing. The other half of the time, they talk themselves into seeing your point without you ever making it. You didn't argue them into it. You asked them into it. You have just discovered something most people never figure out. The person asking the questions controls the room, not the person with the loudest voice, the person with the right question. Stage 3. The panic. Something goes wrong. A failure, a setback, a door that closes in your face. Most people do the same thing at this moment. They zoom in. They stare at the crack until the crack becomes the whole wall. One bad test means they're stupid. One rejection means they're not good enough. One bad week means everything is falling apart. You've done this too. Everyone has. But smart thinkers do something different. They zoom out. They ask, what is this actually telling me? Not what does this mean about who I am? What does this mean about what I should do next? The failure becomes data. The rejection becomes a redirect. The closed door becomes a map of where to go instead. You stop seeing problems. You start seeing patterns. And patterns can be solved. Most people never make this shift. They stay zoomed in their entire lives, reacting to every setback like it's a verdict. You zoom out, and suddenly you're operating at a level they can't even see. Stage 4. The filter. You realize something one afternoon. You are exhausted. Not from working, not from thinking, from worrying. About things that haven't happened, about what people think of you, about outcomes you cannot touch, cannot change, cannot influence in any direction, no matter how long you lie awake at night turning them over. You've been leaking energy your entire life, pouring mental fuel into a fire that heats nothing. So you build a filter. One question, 2 words. Can I control this? If yes, you act. If no, you release it, completely, not mostly, not after one more hour of thinking about it, completely. You cannot control the weather. You can control the umbrella. You cannot control what they think of you. You can control who you actually are. You cannot control the outcome. You can control the preparation. The energy you recover from this single habit is staggering. You redirect it. You pour it into the things that actually move. While everyone around you is drained from worrying about everything, you are sharp, focused, quietly ahead. Stage 5. The quiet. You walk into rooms differently now. You used to fill silence, rush to fill it, say the first thing that surfaced just to avoid the discomfort of a pause. Most people do this. They talk to prove they're engaged. They speak to seem smart. They fill every gap with noise and wonder why no one really hears them. You stop filling. Someone asks you a question. You pause. You think. Then you answer. That pause does something invisible. It tells the room that what you're about to say was worth waiting for. You listen more than you talk. You let people finish their sentences. You absorb everything before you respond. And a strange thing starts happening. People begin to seek you out. They want your read on things. They trust your opinion before you've even given it. Not because you know more than everyone else, because you choose your words like they cost something. Quiet people are often perceived as the smartest people in the room, not because they know more, because they understand that speaking carefully is rarer and more valuable than speaking often. Stage 6. The pause. This is the one that changes everything. Life throws things at you constantly. Rude comments, unexpected problems, situations that didn't go your way, people who push buttons you didn't know you had. The old version of you reacted to all of it instantly. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you boil. Someone says something sharp, you fire back. Something falls apart, you spiral. You were living on autopilot. Stimulus, reaction, no gap in between. The most intelligent thing you ever do is build that gap. A breath, a pause, a single second between what happens to you and what you do next. In that 1 second, you ask yourself, what is the smartest response here? Not the fastest, not the most satisfying, the smartest. And in that 1 second, you separate yourself from everyone else who is just reacting. Because the person who stays calm when everyone else is emotional doesn't just seem smarter. They're making better decisions in real time, while everyone else makes decisions they'll regret. That is not weakness. That is control. Quiet, total, absolute control. What happens now? 6 minutes ago, you were reading a script. Now you carry 5 things most people spend their entire lives without understanding. You don't argue, you ask. You don't panic, you zoom out. You don't leak energy, you filter. You don't fill silence, you use it. You don't just react, you choose. None of this requires a certain school or a certain grade or a certain background. It requires only one thing, the decision to think differently than the crowd. And the crowd is large. The crowd is loud. The crowd will keep arguing, panicking, worrying, reacting, and wondering why things never seem to change. You've already made a different choice. Somewhere out there right now, someone is in an argument they'll regret tomorrow. Someone is lying awake at 3 a.m. worrying about something they can't control. Someone is firing back at a comment that didn't deserve a response. That person doesn't know what you know. Not yet. Pick one habit, just one. Practice it tomorrow, then the day after, then the day after that. You won't need to announce it. People will just start to notice. That's how it starts. That's how it always starts.